Hi, I'm Melinda Toussaint. I'm your friendly nurse practitioner. I am here live at Marion Maine's 3-year anniversary. So cheers to Marion Maine, and thank you so much for having me here to teach you and others a little bit about cannabis. So we're going to talk about the basics of cannabis today, just the fundamentals. I'm a family nurse practitioner, and I'm co-owner of MariCare Wellness located in Bowie, Maryland, and owner of MariCare Medical Consulting, where I love to educate people and to stop the stigma through education. So a little bit about MariCare Wellness. So we're a wellness holistic practice, and the co-founders are Bernicia Edmonds and myself, Melinda Toussaint. Bernicia Edmonds, she's more on the wellness side, and I'm on cannabis and wellness. So we offer a variety of services, mostly the medical cannabis recommendations to Maryland and DC and Virginia residents. So, do you want to know a little bit about cannabis? Well, I am glad you asked, and I'm glad you are here to educate yourself a bit more. So, we're going to start with the fundamentals about cannabis. And you can't talk about cannabis without talking about the endocannabinoid system. So the main function of the endocannabinoid system is to provide balance and stability or homeostasis within our cells. But you first have to recognize that all mammalians have an endocannabinoid system. So that includes humans and our four-legged friends. So with the endocannabinoid system is located within us, and we naturally make cannabis-like compounds, and we have naturally have receptors within us to uptake it. And primarily, there's an abundance of receptors located in the brain, which really uptakes THC. And also another high concentration of receptors, which is CB2. CB1 is mostly in the brain, and CB2 is mostly like in the digestive tract. And that primarily uptakes the cannabinoid CBD and CBN and a lot more. So whether you are inhaling your cannabis product or ingesting it, our receptors uptake it and try to restore balance and stability or homeostasis within ourselves, so we could be feeling more like ourselves again. So there are many benefits of cannabis, also known as marijuana. So whether it's helping with their stress, anxiety, depression, or for those who have difficulty sleeping, or fighting cancer, because it's also it has anti-cancer and anti-tumor properties. It's a great muscle relaxant. It helps with glaucoma, inflammation, and it also will help those who are with people who have like prostate issues, Crohn's, IBS, other digestive issues, who has suffered a stroke, has Alzheimer's, MS, Parkinson's, and more. So I could, with whole heart, definitely say cannabis could help you in one way or form, but really everyone. So there are two major parts of cannabis. So there are the cannabinoids and also terpenes. And I'm going to talk about terpenes in a little bit. So cannabinoids are the THC, CBD, CBN, and all those three-letter and four-letter acronyms in between. And as you can see on this chart, that each cannabinoid has a therapeutic response in the body. So if you look in the red section, THC, you'll see that THC helps to alleviate pain. It helps with nausea and vomiting, muscle spasms, and stimulate your appetite. And it also is a great factor to help with those who have been diagnosed with glaucoma. And then when you look in the CBD column, you will see how it helps some similar things like THC does, but also even more. It helps slow bacterial growth, stabilize blood pressure, also nausea and vomiting, seizures, epilepsy, inflammation. CBD is so great for inflammation. So if you have any type of inflammatory issue going on, like inflammatory bowel disease or chronic pain and arthritis, CBD is really good, as well as with insomnia. So it's very sedating and tranquilizing, helps with psoriasis, promotes bone growth, boost the immune system. It's also neuroprotective and more. And as you look at the other cannabinoids, you will see that it helps with other things as well. And when you have the different types of cannabinoids together, they work synergistically together to get even a greater benefit. So it's like 1 + 1 = 4 instead of 2. And what is great about cannabis that I love, instead of having side effects, you have side benefits. So you could have one type of product and you might, let's say, get it for chronic pain, but you also notice that you're more relaxed, you're less muscle spasms, and slept better that night. So the other part of cannabis are terpenes. Have you ever heard of terpenes? If you haven't, I am sure that you have taste or smell, or have gotten some benefits from terpenes. So commonly when people try or smell lavender, how does that make you feel? Relax, right? Calm, or it helps with sleep. So that same terpene in cannabis is called linalool. So linalool is very relaxing, sedating, help with muscle spasm, sleep, calms the mind, helps with anxiety and more. And if you smell a piece of orange, or any type of citrus fruit, how does that make you feel? More alive, awakened, energizing, helps with focus. So that similar thing is in cannabis is called limonene. So that terpene is called limonene. And so you'll see how limonene also helps inhibit cancer cell growth. It is a digestive aid, help boost immune system. It's an antidepressant. It's very uplifting. So terpenes really help you feel uplifted, balanced, and also relaxed, or all of those in between. So, along with the cannabinoids, terpenes are also the main component of giving you the desired effect that you have been searching for. So a lot of times people ask, like, what's the difference between sativa, indica, and also hybrid? So, if with sativa and indica, really, there's not one true plant out there. Really, all of them are hybrids these days and age, because they've been christening and crossing and matching and doing all that. But when people hear sativa, they commonly feel or know that it's more uplifting, energizing. It helps with focus, mental concentration. It's euphoric. So that is like the wake bake, something that you could take during the daytime and get your day going. And then with indica, it's classically known as being more relaxing. It gives you more of a body high, versus sativa gives more of like a head or cerebral high. A lot of time people like taking that after work or on the weekends, or helping with chronic pain, or they just want to have a sense of relaxation. And indicas have a higher concentration of CBD than sativa, and CBD and sativas classically have a higher amount of THC in it. Now, a caveat with sativas is that sometimes if you ingest or smoke or vape too much, you may feel a bit anxious. It's kind of like having too much coffee. Like one cup is like, ooh, I'm awake, I'm ready to start my day. And maybe the second or third cup might give you the jitters. So sometimes my patients report that sometimes sativas make them feel that way, and they prefer more indica, or maybe even sativa hybrids, which is still awakening, but yet might not make you feel as anxious. And if you would see the plant growing somewhere, not in Maryland, because growing in the privacy of your home is currently illegal. But if you are located in our neighboring states like DC, where you could grow up to 6 plants per household, or Virginia, who could grow up to 4 plants for per household. You might see a plant, a sativa plant. It grows very high. The leaves are thin and narrow, and with indica they're a bit more shorter, and the leaves are a bit wider, and the color is a bit deeper. So those are the general differences between sativa, hybrid, and indica. Now, sometimes people want to know, what is the difference between hemp CBD and also marijuana or cannabis CBD? The main difference is the amount of THC that is in it. So, CBD from hemp, which is full spectrum CBD, has less than 0.3% of THC in it. And CBD from any other cannabis plant has more than 0.3% of THC. Classically, it has 5 to 25% or more THC inside of it. And that is when you need to go to get your medical cannabis card and go to the dispensary to purchase. And with hemp CBD, since it has less than 0.3% of THC in it, you might find it at your local grocery store, or natural food or product store, or even online. But whenever you get a CBD product that you're getting outside of this dispensary, make sure it has been third party tested. And it will clearly indicate that it has been third party tested, because just like how there's counterfeit clothes and shoes, there's counterfeit cannabis products. And typically when people want to use those type of products, they're seeking some type of relief to their medical issue or condition. So I'll hate for you or someone you love or that you know have a product that has not properly been tested or tested at all, and it cause a bit more harm than the good that it can. Now, there are different ways that you can consume cannabis. Sometimes people like, oh no, I don't like the smell. I don't want to smoke it, my lungs and all of that. So you don't only have to smoke or vape cannabis. There's a lot of ways you can consume your cannabis product without inhaling it. There are inhalant smoking or vaping. There's also edibles, which typically are in like a cookie or brownie or any type of ingestible food product. There are topicals, especially for those who have skin issues or chronic pain. Topicals are a good choice. Concentrates, which have a higher concentration and potency of like THC and maybe other cannabinoids. Syringes, sublinguals, which you place under your tongues, capsules, and much more. Gummies is another one, which is quite common, but there's different ways that you can consume. So I'm going to break it down how you could choose your products. Okay, let's go back, forward one, again, again, again. Okay. Sorry, my slide was out of order. So, the way that you can consume cannabis, I like to group it in two different categories. One is like the fast acting products, and the others are the products that work for a longer duration of time or long acting. So, the products that work quite quickly are whatever you inhale or apply on the skin. So, smoking, vaping, and topicals. Typically, they work within about 5 to 15 minutes, and they last you feeling the benefits of it for about 2 to 4 hours. So if you need something quick and fast, try the smoking or vaping products, or you can even use a topical for quick pain relief. Now, the methods of ingestion, whether it is with a gummy, oil, tincture, tablet, mint, soft gel, a beverage, or any type of infused cannabis product, on average, it takes about 30 minutes to 60 minutes or an hour, or even up to 3 hours for you to start feeling the benefits of it. Um, and it lasts for about 6 to 12 hours on average. So, depending on what product you ingested, you will get a longer duration of relief. So, for instance, let's try sleep, because there's a lot of people that have sleep issues. To help them fall asleep, they might want to smoke or vape right before they go to bed, and then at the same time, take a gummy so that it can help them stay asleep. So it will help those insomniacs fall asleep and stay asleep. Or, for instance, if you're a generally anxious person and really stressed daily, you might want to take a gummy like a Sativa or maybe a CBD product prior to your workday to help keep your stress levels down and keep you focused. So those are different ways that you could consume cannabis. Cannabis is all trial and error. So you're going to find some products that work very well for you, and some maybe you might choose to use it a certain part of the day or time. But the thing is, consistency is key. When you're consistent with using your product, you'll get consistent results. And we're going to go back to the previous slide. Now let's talk about dosage. So that's a common thing that people want to know. But rule of thumb, there's a saying, start low and go slow. So which means that you start at a lower dose and incrementally increase your dosage. And until you get the desired effect. So the main one, you really want to start at a low dose, especially for those are, first time users, or a novice, or they're a bit lightweight. Start about at 2.5 to 5 milligrams of THC. And then and how you can know if the dosage, it should be clearly labeled on your cannabis product. And then for those who are smoking and vaping, it's kind of hard to tell, but you can measure your desired response by inhaling your product. So if you choose to smoke or vape, do 1 to 2 puffs and wait about 15 to 30 minutes and see if that's where you want to be and it's providing you the relief you want, and then do another 1 to 2 inhalations. But with the ingestible products, it should tell you, let's say 1 gummy is equivalent to 20 milligrams of THC. So you will want to divide that gummy into like 4 pieces, and then take 1 slither of it, or even an eighth of it, and try that dose, and then wait up to 3 hours, because it is an ingestible product, to evaluate your full response. I don't know about you, but I'm sure someone there has a friend, or it might be you, that had an edible story. And typically is because, with edibles, they taste so good, and then you take it and then you're waiting around and you're like, oh, it's not working. You take another bite, or you just like eat the entire thing, then all of a sudden your world is turned around and you're on a trip that you didn't sign up for. So please, please, please remember, it is still medicine, and all that. So you just want to start at a low dose, wait the desired time. If it's an inhalant, 15 minutes. If it's an ingestible product, up to 3 hours before you take your next dose. And then once you know what is right for you, you could stay within that range. Sometimes if you like more anxious or more active, you might need a bit more cannabis that day. Than other days you're more relaxed and less anxious. But the thing with THC, since it heightens your perception and senses, typically when people consume like 10 to 20 milligrams or more of THC, it could cause a bit of what is called THC-induced psychosis, where people feel very anxious and or dizzy or nauseous and all of that, because their body can't break down that much THC at a time, and they feel a bit like paranoid and like hypersensitive and all, or they just trip out for a while. But just know within time it will leave your system, because in everything there's an end, a beginning and an end. But now with CBD, it does not make you feel high. So if you ever feel too high, you could act that with some CBD, because CBD will help lessen the head high, and it also is very calming and help with anxiety and stress. But for those who have like chronic issues, on average, I found that between 30 and 60 milligrams of CBD, that's when they feel the effects of it, because again, it doesn't make you feel high, but typically people feel like more relaxed, focused. The pain has diminished, or have went away, and also with sleep. Those are the common three things that people feel a difference with CBD, with their pain, their mood, and sleep. But you could also feel the difference even at lower doses. But I just found out like really 20, 30 milligrams, you will start to feel a difference after you use your CBD product. But you really could take as much CBD as you want. But if you look on a graph with CBD, it kind of is like a hill. So the more you take, you get better relief from it. And then, but if you take a bit more, the relief starts to diminish. Kind of like if you will take ibuprofen, 200 milligrams of ibuprofen gives you relief, and then you take 800 milligrams and it's like even better. But if you took 1,000 milligrams, you're not going to feel any more different than if you took 800 milligrams of ibuprofen or Motrin. Not that I recommend that you take that anyway, because of other issues, but that is kind of how CBD works. And for daytime use, up to 100 milligrams of CBD keeps you awake, and then 100 and 600 milligrams of CBD alone could help produce a sedating feeling. But even if you combine CBD with THC at lower doses, it could also have that sedating feel. So you don't have to take that much to get that type of relief. But if you ever take too much THC, I'm not saying don't call 911 right away, but there are different things that you can do before if you choose to call 911. So first, relax, take a deep breath, distract yourself. Take a high dose of CBD. You could chew on some peppercorns or smell black pepper, because peppercorns have a great neurological effect, and it's like that terpene beta caryophyllene, and it's very balancing. Also, distract yourself by watching TV, drink water, take a cold shower, or just fall asleep, because within time it will be out of your system. Another thing I didn't add, also B vitamins help as well. So like sometimes people do vitamin infusions, but B vitamins also help reduce that THC high feeling. So there are states that have some type of cannabis program. Most states in the United States of America have some type of medical cannabis program, whether it's for adult use or that you can consume the hemp CBD. But over half of the states in America is adult use or recreational. Maybe someone will know it as, but either these states have absolutely no type of cannabis program, or you could legally consume hemp CBD that has less than 0.3% of THC without a medical cannabis card. Or you could seek your state for a medical cannabis card and able to go to a medical dispensary, or your state is adult use, 21 and over, recreationally, and all you need to walk into the dispensary is with your government issued ID, like a driver's license or passport. But I always believe having a medical card has great benefits, because then you don't have to pay taxes, recreational taxes, on your cannabis products when you purchase at a recreational or adult use dispensary. So wherever you are in America and you're interested in consuming cannabis to help whatever chronic condition that you may have, check your local state medical cannabis program. here in Maryland, where I'm located, Maryland Medical Cannabis Commission is where you will find to register with their program so that you could get issued a registration number or MMCCID number that you'll take you to the provider who may activate it so you could have access to the dispensary. So in Maryland, you have to have a card to legally even walk into a medical cannabis dispensary. Now, what is a qualifying condition in Maryland? So for those who want to know how you could be a registered medical cannabis patient, there's a couple of steps. First, you want to know, does your condition qualify? So some of the conditions you may qualify for are cachexia, anorexia, wasting syndrome. Cachexia and wasting syndrome are similar to each other, and people might see that in AIDS patients or those who have cancer. Anorexia, severe chronic pain, nausea, seizures, muscle spasm, glaucoma, PTSD. And then there's the other box, which means that any other chronic health issue that you have that you tried conservative treatment and it didn't work because you're still suffering with that to today. So that could also be that stress, anxiety, depression, insomnia. It could be multiple sclerosis. It could even be like hypertension, high cholesterol, because cannabis does help that, diabetes. So different things like that. But there are some medical providers that certifying cannabis registered providers might only go exactly from the top portion of the list and might not live in that other box, but then other medical providers might allow you to, might write it in so that you could receive your medical cannabis certification. Now, typically to get a medical cannabis card is basically a two-step process, no matter what state that you are in. So first you need to have a condition, whether it is glaucoma, chronic pain, or even cancer or generalized anxiety disorder, PTSD. So you have to have one of those conditions and have some medical records proving that you have those issues. And then you find a registered medical cannabis provider that will be able to certify you. So that could be a doctor, nurse practitioner, or dentist, or anything like that, that has registered with the state cannabis program and has access to certify you. Not all medical providers could do it. They have to be registered with the state cannabis program. And the other step is registering with the state. So Maryland is Maryland Medical Cannabis Commission, and then you will create an account and register on there, pay a $50 fee, and then at this time, it's taken about 4 weeks for MMCC or onestop.md.gov to get back to you with the registration number, which you will take to the certified registered medical cannabis provider so that they could review your health conditions and then issue you a medical cannabis written certification. And then you will take that number or your medical cannabis card to a local dispensary, and there's many throughout the state, and you'll be legally able to purchase your medical cannabis product. So those are the two steps: register with the state and also get an appointment with the certifying medical provider like us at MariCare Wellness. Now, after you get your written certification or approved to use cannabis, another question people have are like, how much am I allowed to purchase? So in Maryland, you could legally purchase 120 grams of the smokable cannabis product, and you're also allotted 36 grams of any other Delta 9 THC product, which are any non-flower product like vapes, gummies, concentrates, topicals, and on a rolling 30-day basis. So if you purchase something today on the 25th of September, then on the 25th in October, that amount that you purchase get back on. So it's a rolling 30-day basis. It's not from the beginning of the month to the end of the month. It's 30 days later. So that's how it goes. But if you ever keep running out of your allotment, you could contact your medical provider and request for them to review allotment increase. Now, this is a quick snapshot of how to obtain a medical card in Maryland. So it's a couple of step process. And then for those who are in other neighboring states, this is a brief overview if you're in Virginia. But if you're a Virginia patient, you can't go to a Maryland dispensary, but Virginia patients could also go to other recreational dispensaries such as DC. And if you are a DC patient, here's a list of some other qualifying conditions. DC patients cannot go to a Maryland cannabis dispensary, but Maryland patients can go to a DC dispensary with their medical cannabis card. Now, how much does a certification cost? So on average, and this is a general average, for initial consultation, you could expect to pay about $200, more or less, depending on the provider. It may or may not include follow-up appointment as needed. And also for annual renewal, on average, for that recertifications is about $50. And it could be more or less than that depending on the medical provider and what's included in that cost. As far as with MMCC, it is a non-refundable $50 every 3 years. So when you initially register, you'll pay $50, and then 3 years later, when your card expires to renew again, you'll pay another $50. So you do that once every 3 years. Now at MariCare Wellness, we love discounts. We really try to meet the patients where they are because unfortunately at this time, insurance does not cover any type of medical cannabis product or service. So at MariCare Wellness, we offer senior discounts, student discount, teachers. We love our teachers, militaries, and other first responders. So if you're a firefighter or EMS or police officer, we also offer discount. And anyone who's on any type of government assistance, whether it's Medicaid, Social Security, disability, senior, which is Medicare, and all of that, you also receive a discount. And those who are in the industry, like a dispensary worker, or work in the cultivation or lab and all that, we offer discounts for those who are in the industry. And then we also try to keep our price competitive. So if you want to come to MariCare Wellness, but you saw another price somewhere, we do offer price matching as well. And a bit of references of how I got the information. And lastly, if you have any questions, I'm always happy to answer your question because I love removing the stigma about cannabis through education. So you could find me at MariCareWellness.com. You could email me at info@MariCareWellness or text me at 240-206-7004. We're also here on all social media, so Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, where we also have more information about medical cannabis, education, as well as health and wellness. Twitter, Google, Yelp, WeMaps, Marijuana Doctors, LinkedIn, and so much more, all at MariCare Wellness. So I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you for celebrating Marion, Maine's 3-year anniversary. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.